Do you want to live your life with more flow and lead with more flow? Today, we're speaking with Ghada with Leading with Flow. We're so excited to have you here on Set to Love. Welcome.
You can live a life in flow where your deepest heart's desires become reality.
You are here to contribute through your essence, fall deeper in love with your life and the journey that you are on.
Take what works, ditch the rest, and always stay set to love.
Thank you for being a part of this community. We're all designed to live in flow. So let's go.
So good morning. Good morning, best friend. How are you?
Good morning. Looking forward to speaking with Ghada. I'm very excited.
Me too. Anyone who talks about living in flow, creating a life in flow, if they use that word, they are my friend. So with that, let's welcome her to our show. Good morning or good evening for you.
Yeah. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon to everyone. Thank you for inviting me to be part of the Flow series. It's really exciting to be here with you for this short time and flow in the session, whatever that leads to.
I love it. Yes, thank you. So why don't you just start out by telling our viewers a little bit about you and your background?
So my name is Ghada Khalifeh. I'm like a Lebanese American. I actually, my background is nutrition and dietetics. And I grew up in a family of like entrepreneurship and business. So I've always had this to leave, like the norm. And so I work in dietetics and nutrition, but 10 years ago, I had, the big questions and which all led me to a retreat back in actually 10 years ago in upstate New York. And that retreat, spiritual retreat, it opened for me a new way of looking to it inside and led me to, go into mentors, teachers, and go into that inner journey. And 5 years ago, I started to be trained as a coach, certified coactive coach. And I still do actually continuously doing professional coaching with positive intelligence. And my company's been about 5 years ago also, and it's about leading with flow. The reason flow is now my kind of theme in life is because I am someone who used to take super action. Like I'm someone who had no problem with taking action. Actually, my problem was mainly about over action taking and overdoing and over busy, which led me to burn out. And that's when I started 10 years ago looking for the answers and going, like my stress, my anger. So leading with flow has been my way to go to show up from inside outside.
Mm-hmm. So my first question for you is, where did you first hear about this concept of flow or leading with flow? Because it's new. I mean, for a lot of people outside of Mikhail Csikszentmihalyi, sort of those flow states and understanding that, but the way that you talk about it, the way we talk about it, it's in such a bigger way. So where did that come from for you? How did you discover flow?
Yeah, that's a good question. And absolutely, when I started the coaching journey, if I want to narrow it down and started, to see like what are the people that I want to support, I started with looking into myself and what do I really need. So it started, the flow. I was craving for flow. I was someone who was always craving for, to live, like I was constantly living, lived through like a hungry woman, metaphorically and physically. So I was always in the doing and always into the action and always looking for goals, but I've never felt fulfillment. Like I've always burned out, angry, anxious. It affected my relationships. It affected actually my performance as well. So I progressed into leading with flow into, this is where I found my balance. I was always coming from the outside. So the outside was inspiring me. I was catering for the outside. So when I found that everything is from inside. Like it was like I actually found alignment before leading with flow, like the flow. I found like this hustling for my worthiness, like that's the word that describes it, this hustle for my worthiness, to be validated, to be accepted, to be recognized, to be loved, to be successful, was not working for me. This is not working for me. So it was like, I'm someone who goes into experience and try things and then discover. I'm not someone who like look at someone what they're doing and then see what happens. I just go into the experience. So that hustling and chasing worthiness was no longer feeding me anymore. There must be something else. And that is going into like, that creating inside out, that creating from my values, from on purpose, because I was always leading my life from my autopilot behavior, from this reactive mind, and from my hyperachiever and from my restlessness. Those were my huge saboteurs that actually did not allow me to live a fulfilled life, to live inside out, to bring ease and flow in my life, to feel, to trust myself, to listen to myself.
So one of the things that Eva and I really believe with flow is that it's a lot of just your natural abilities that make you happy, and you follow your heart, and which is what it sounds like you were seeking. Do you feel that that was the pivot? I mean, it'd really be nice to have somebody collaborating, saying, kind of confirming that thought. Would you say that part of that is just really being, instead of trying to be an entrepreneur or trying to be all of these things that are supposed to be good, did you follow your own heart and say, you know what, this is just who I am and what I have to offer the world? And so now it's flowing.
Absolutely. That I had to go through all these steps, to return to home. It's like returning home to that place of, of creating from within, to the, I call it the feminine flow, to my. It was, it's interesting how you put it, by the way. I like how you put it. And, like, I think everything was leading me to find that creation from within, from that authenticity. And even like coming to this, coming to this show, by the way, without preparation and allowing what flows, though English is not my first language, but it's just that trust to, that being in your intuition, in that, in your emotional, spiritual, physical space, that you trust to bring the simplicity of it, to bring what's true for you. And when you bring what's true for you, there's no competition there. There's no argument. It's what's true for you in this moment.
I love that.
I don't know if I answered your question.
No, I think that you did. I think you answered it actually beautifully. For people to, that's the thing, is we want people to be able to see how easy it is to flow in life, is to be true to yourself. Not trying to be what your parents want you to be, or your own head is telling you that you're supposed to be, or that it's about money. Like, money is great. We need money, but you really cannot go against really who you are and what you have to offer. And the money comes later, however you can twist it or, invent, but really it has to be from you. And that's what I see when listening. Like you're saying, you showed up here this morning not knowing how this is going to go, just like Eva and I do every morning. We never know where it's going to go. So it's a beautiful thing that you're trusting. This is just total confirmation that that's what flow is. And I love this. Don't you, Eva?
Yeah, what's so cool is that you're on the other side of the world, and we don't know each other per se. And here we are talking about the same things. And it just really goes to prove that when something wants to come forth out of the ether for humanity, it's going to find receptive people. And like the intuition, the knowingness of just how to show up differently in the world is dropping into more than just Shelley and I. There are people all over who are figuring out that there's just another way of being in the world. So my question for you, Ghada, is if you're someone who's back to where you started, you know, that frustrated, that like feeling like they just got to go, 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 do, and they're listening to this right now, what would you say would be one or two of the first steps that someone should take to lead with their own flow?
I love that. I think the first thing is you need to bring, like, one of the things that I work with my clients around is just acknowledging where they are, is just bringing awareness to your autopilot behavior, that reactory mind, the survival mind that is focused on what the outside or the culture, the society or your parents support you to do. So bringing awareness to what is the autopilot behavior, the lifestyle? Are you controlling? Are you pushing? Are you going into perfectionism? Are you trying to please others? Are you in competition? So identifying first your autopilot, your reactive mind. And the second thing, the thing is being able to return to your body. That's returning to slowing down in order to access all the planes of your cells. Not the mind, because we live always from the upper side, and tuning in to listen to all parts of your body, the physical, the emotional, the spiritual, and open up to and have be able to understand your emotions, and that is by practicing self-grounding, by practicing self-compassion, and by accessing the way you want to express yourself. Like, what is self-expression? Your own authentic expression of self. And that is by tuning on into your values and your strength. So 3 things is self-grounding and able to access that, like for me, trusting that I'm gonna come and meet you and say whatever on my whatever flows. And I usually do self-grounding. For me, I follow the 3M, which is meditation, movement, and mental fitness. It's a way of anchoring myself to be present as much as I can. And it's a daily practice. Mm-hmm. And the other thing is self-compassion. And if I, example, I'm here today and I messed up, and I just this is another way of showing up. I'm just human and I'm learning how to build that muscle. So in order to make money, to excel, to achieve, we need to be compassionate versus beating ourselves. So self-compassion is an amazing tool in order to continue leading with flow. And self-expression, learning really what makes you unique, what lights you up, what are your core personal values, and what are your strengths, and that is what's gonna lead you into. That's your core, that's your foundation.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
So when let's just say though, people are really lost.
Yeah.
And so they're kind of afraid of this process. How long does it take to really work that muscle to get you to start turning things around? Like, let's say they're not positive about themselves, or they don't know any of the answers to what you just said. Like, some people say, well, I don't know what I like. I don't know anything. All I know is I just go each day. I wake up, I do my job. Do you have any bit of advice for someone of how do they find that self? Where do they begin with? I know you meditate or whatever, but in a simplistic way, how would you tell someone who they are? How do I find me?
Yeah, I would, the only, word, there are many tools, but the only word that comes to mind is to slow down and trust yourself. Slow down, take your own pace, to be even 5 minutes with yourself. Slow down and trust that you're gonna hear. And the more you do that, you're gonna hear more and more and more.
I love that advice.
How funny, Shelley. We did a show last week and it was called Slow Down. And we talked all about how slowing down is one of the first steps. And, it was one of those, it just kind of popped in and we're like, let's do a show on slowing down. So I love that you're saying that, because
she's confirming everything.
Because we are whole, and I want to add something here that, it's not like whoever is listening here, it's not like there's something wrong with you, or you need, when we talk about growth and self-development, it's not about you being wrong, or, what's the word, what I'm trying to say, you are whole, you are resourceful, you know yourself more than I know you or the coach or your friend. The only thing that you need is to be able to tune in so you can listen deeper to what you want. Everything is inside you, and it just, you need to trust that and practice that muscle of slowing down.
That's
Ghada,
so
what a beautiful
true.
show. Thank you so much for being here today and for sharing your message. Where can people find you if they want to connect with you?
Well, I'm on Instagram, LeadWithFlow, and on LinkedIn, and also my website, it's GhadaKhalifeh.com. They can reach me by email or by DM message on Instagram. If they are on LinkedIn as well, it's under Ghada Khalifeh.
Excellent.
Ghada,
And
I just love you.
Down in the show notes.
Thank you so much.
You are amazing. I mean, I love your energy. Thank you for hosting me and just for reaching out and for doing what you're doing. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. And for everyone out there, we love you. We appreciate you. Ghada, hold on one second. We will say bye to you as soon as we end this show. We can be found at settolove.com. If you are interested in reaching out to us for any reason whatsoever, if that little intuition is saying, I need to reach out to even Shelley, you can email us at settolovepodcast@gmail.com. We are here weekday mornings. We appreciate you. We love you. And we'll see you back tomorrow morning. Bye, everyone.
Hit